Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships. I will be doing an upgrade commander build video on Azuma Monday, Tuesday, but for today and tomorrow I have some different videos. And today, upon returning from my brief stint in vacation, I was very interested to see how the Salvage for Victory would end up on the live server. I'll throw a picture here on the screen. From being on the public test server, and I was very much concerned of how this would look like on the live server. And once they introduced with the new update on Wednesday, we now have a pretty good idea of what this looks like on the live server. Now, what I will say, I've been playing World of Warships for over 4 years now, and within the last, I don't know, to me, people may disagree. I would say within the last 2 years, the monetization in the game has increased dramatically. I mean, maybe you can make an argument for even 3 years, but just even within the last year in of itself, it's increased dramatically, right? Especially, we've seen some signs since, I think it was last spring when they did the economic rework. And there has been something that Wargaming has been very intent on, very intentional with, I would say, within the last year, especially the last 9 months, off the top of my head. And that is that they want your resources. Now, there are players in the game with a lot of resources, and of course, there's new players. So what I want to do with this video is, I'm not talking so much about the monetization, but one element is talking about how concerning this wargaming going after quote-unquote player resources. I mean, it's entirely optional whether you participated in an event like this or not. But their greed for wanting to drain the player base of their resources. And then secondly, what does it mean for new players in the game who maybe are not so familiar in terms of all these economic currencies, resources in the game, and it's really hard to judge, you know, what is their value, what is their worth, right? Now, doubloons, we have a pretty good idea of course, because we'll be looking at the Wargaming premium shop. Premium time, we have a pretty good idea of credits, rough idea, but then things become a bit more hard to say what is the dollar value of coal, elite commander XP, and research points. So we'll talk a little bit about those as we go along. So first, let me just talk about the event. So we'll go ahead and click on this. Salvage for Victory, combine your resources to earn rewards in the Armory. We've added new functionality that will be available during the Salvage for Victory event. You'll be able to combine your resources to obtain ship and other valuable resources. Let's see, what is it about? Where you'll be able to combine your resources to obtain various rewards. The necessary resources are that you will need, and then exchanging. So you know how you would, like, we had the trade-in event, so you would trade in a really good ship for another ship, and you might still even have to pay doubloons on top of that, and Wargaming wouldn't compensate you for the differences. And here they're listing what you can get for your resources. You know, if you trade in, what will you get in return? So we'll talk about it when we go back, but you know, you get the permanent camouflage ocean liner for Normandy, bonus package for tier 8 ships, and 10 tier mic flags, and you have the tier 8 French battleship, the Champagne, with the port slot, and the commander with 6 skill points, and then the Champagne flag. If you already have it, then you get compensated. So they compensate you some things, other things they just don't. So anyhow, let's go ahead and go back, and you can see here. Okay, I'm gonna go back into here. So you can see here they have this progress bar for the Normandy ocean liner, the bonus package, Champagne, and Champagne flag. Okay, so they're at the get-go. You have your resources. You have your 6 resources here at the bottom, and it's very concerning. Very concerning, and how they're coming after player resources if you really want to participate this, and things that are just really unequal, like entirely. Okay, so first off is you have the ocean liner for Normandy. Okay, so this permanent camouflages are no longer tied to the permanent economic bonus. It has to specifically state if you will also receive the permanent economic bonus or not, okay? And they don't. They separated them since. So the only thing you're getting with this Normandy Ocean Liner is the fact that it's just, it's a skin. Just makes your ship look maybe a little more interesting, okay? So getting into it, so let's say I wanted to use doubloons, okay? So resource coverage and percentage. The following resource can cover up to 100% of your progress in doubloons, okay? So I can go up, you can see that 500 doubloons equals 2.5%, which is across the board, and it gives you the number of resources, 2.5%. So that means I'm gonna have to go 2.5% times 6, right, to get up to 15%. So if I use doubloons, and I really want this, it would cost me 3,000 doubloons. Now, maybe you wonder, how much is 3,000 doubloons? Well, 3,000 doubloons, if you buy it in the premium shop, is worth $12, okay? Now, let's say I really wanted the Normandy Ocean Liner, but I wanted to use premium time, okay? 30 days, 2.5%. So let's take a look at how much is 30 days. Well, 30 days of premium is $9.99, and that's just 2.5%. And we just said that 3,000 doubloons is $12, $9.99. So how much is this going to actually cost you? So if you used your premium day resources, let's say you just have a lot of premium time. Okay, I have a lot. I've had over 500, 600, but I haven't bought premium time in like almost like 21, 22 months now. And if I use, again, 30 days times 6, that's going to be 180 days of premium. Now, you may wonder, well, how much is 180 days premium? How much does that cost? Well, it's going to cost you $53.99. Wow, that is not balanced at all, right? So you go from $12 to $53.99, $54. That's quite absurd. Right, so something, if I go back, you know, it'd be something which would make more sense is if maybe you traded like 7 days. 7 days for 2.5%, right? So like 35 days premium. So then that would put you relatively close. If they offered this and they like a 35 or 7 times, I'm not even doing math right, am I? 7 times 6, 42 days, right? So in iterations of 7, okay, then that would cost a little bit more. Then you'd be maybe closer to like, I don't know, let's say $16, $18 if this is the scaling they're doing. So it's quite the difference, right, when you're looking at this. So, I mean, also in tying into, I have concern for newer players who maybe they got a lot of premium time and like, oh, I'll just use my premium time because maybe I want this, right? Or maybe they say I want to use my 3,000 doubloons, and then I want to use some premium time afterwards to get the permanent bonus package. Now I'm picking on these two because you can really see the difference quite well. I could also look at credits, right? So I have like not much credits. I only have 7 million, so I can't even utilize this. But again, if we go into, I think it's in the premium shop. Let's see, let me back out here. Do they have it here? A shipload of credits. Okay, so it's basically if you wanted to use credits to get the Normandy Ocean Liner, it'd cost you 60 million credits. How much is 60 million credits? Well, a shipload of credits for 62,500,000 credits is $99.99, but you're getting that 40% off. So that's even a greater ripoff than the premium time, and versus the doubloons. Now, again, there are some players in the game who perhaps just have a ton of credits, especially if you played the game, you've grinded pretty much all the tech trees, right? Then this number starts to grow because you're not really spending a lot of credits. So then Wargaming decides that, okay, well, we're going to devalue what credits is worth because they're targeting the players who are rich in resources. Wargaming wants to drain your resources. If they drain the players of their resources, then it means they have to come back into the premium shop or start playing the game more to build back up their resource and value. Now, even this, right? I'm doing pretty good. I mean, of course, I could have maybe a couple million Elite Commander XP. but I just don't at this point in time because I'm just using it to build up and retrain and a lot of commanders. But I mean, 2.5% for 360,000. Like, it takes a lot to be able to pick up Elite Commander XP. But if you have a lot of, let's say, a ton of 21-point commanders and you're really just playing your favorite ships, then this number, of course, is going to grow over time, bringing us back to that same credit value determination. But this is really a lot. So I mean, you would begin to look at, well, how much does it cost to retrain a commander, and then I think the most is you'd pay 500 doubloons to train a commander cost or retrain one, and that number can be, I mean, it just depends on how, if it's 21-point commander, I think that it costs you 500 doubloons to redistribute the skills, or in exchange you'd have to spend, I think, over 200,000 the commander XP. So then it's not maybe per se too far off from the doubloon value, but I think it's still, it stretches it quite a lot, especially in terms of how much you have to do to actually grind and get a lot of Elite Commander XP. The other one we pick on here is coal, right? So I have just 94,000 coal, and Wargaming usually only sells coal through events like the Battle Pass, where you can pick up more coal. Maybe the dockyard, right? When you get to a certain phase, then you get more coal. So I don't sell coal outright besides the auctions, right? So you want to bid credits for coal, gold doubloons for coal, and other things that they've done in the past at the previous auctions. So it's another type of event that is aiming to drain player of the resources. Players who have a lot of resources, and it doesn't mind, but majority of the player base, I would say, doesn't have that problem where they're overburdened with too many resources. Then you of course have research points, which new players are not going to have access to. It's only 1,200 research bureau points. So basically, if you didn't get a ×2 and you regrinded, let's say you regrinded, regrinded Shimakaze line. I like having a Harugumo around. It's the cheapest line to regrind, but I regrind Shimakaze line quite often, so I have like 6 resets stacked on it. And one reset stacked, I think, does 10,200. So is it the cost of regrinding a whole line? So just some credits. I mean, you get your credits back when you sell the ship line and stuff, but then you just have to go back up, and either you will spend free experience, which I'm kind of surprised, honestly, that free experience isn't here, or you just grind and you play a couple of games with the blue or the red economic boosters. So then maybe, honestly, it begins to look like, well, maybe, if you are been playing the game a lot for a while, then perhaps the research bureau points isn't so bad, right? I've already gone through the permanent camouflage, the bonus package, and I'm to here, and we still have, I'm not even like a ×2 stack, which would be like 20,400 to get through, and then to pick up the champagne, right? So then maybe the research bureau points are actually the best terms to use here. And then maybe doubloons next, right? And I'd have to buy more doubloons on my account to be able to take this up, I think, all the way, because I'm only going to be able to go so far. So it's a lot of money. If you're not so sure of how much the resources you have in-game. Now, if you're a new player, I'm going to be saying be very cautious of these type of events that Wargaming does, where they're targeting your resources for you to trade in to get something, right? And I mean, this is just a skin. It doesn't even give you a bonus to the ship. Where then, this becomes a little more lucrative, but then maybe you really want the champagne, right? Maybe even, I don't actually know. Let's look at ships. I don't know if they actually sell the ship in the premium shop, but we're gonna look. I was hoping I could actually select nation. We can look in the Armory too. It's a gas cone. Is this another way for us to compare things? No, it shouldn't be done this low. Let's look in the Armory. Let's go to ships. All ships. We want to look for a French battleship at tier 8. And it's not here. So, but when you look at other tier 8 French battleships and like, 12,800 doubloons. So that's maybe roughly what this ship would be worth, right? But when I begin to do this, this only takes me up so far. So it'd take, we're not even reaching 50% yet, right? But we only get to 92.5%. So they're saying it's worth even more than 12,800 doubloons. So that's another way to kind of compare and contrast what Wargaming is doing. So just, I guess the first thing is I'm just disappointed that Wargaming does these type of events. Now, what do they do these type of events? One is it's money, but they're trying to drain players with resources to get you to spend more money in the game. And depleting you, so then you have to try to work on, maybe you want to throw some money at the game, restock your credits, restock your doubloons, premium, whatever that may be, right? And then mainly the other reason is for newer players who might not kind of perhaps understand the value, especially when they're throwing so many different resources in the game that Wargaming is essentially monetizing. It can be really confusing to try to discern how much, you know, in a dollar value, how much is 1,200 doubloons actually worth, right? So are they saying 1,200 research bureau points is the equivalent of 500 doubloons? Is that the dollar value they're denoting here? But it's kind of skewed, right? Because you can't compare 500 doubloons with 30 days premium time, because, right? So if I look to see 500 doubloons, go back. I think you have to buy minimum 500 doubloons. No, they don't even list it here. I have to go in here. 500, you know, $2. So they're saying 30 days of premium is worth $2, right? If you're comparing them eye to eye, which is just not accurate at all to do. So salvage for victory, Wargaming wants your resources, so just be mindful of this. I'm imagining we're probably going to see more things like this in the future, periodically, probably not every patch or update, maybe every 3 or 4. Depends what Wargaming decides to do. So, all in all, it's just kind of like just be cautious, especially if you're a new player and you're really not sure what resources you have, what their value and worth is, because Wargaming would rather much you be more confused about it, and then you just straight up knowing what their worth is. And then it's like, oh, well, I don't think I really want to spend 3,000 doubloons or $54 via the premium time of 180 days for a permanent camouflage that does nothing except maybe kind of looks cool, right? And it's just the ocean liner camouflage. It's not that amazing. So that's it for today. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. So if you do like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate the community that we're growing, and we should be into regular content once again as my busy, crazy work hectic schedule the last few weeks is settled down now. So for the foreseeable future, video schedule should be as normal: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So until next time, take care.